Good morning. You're listening to CKCU 93.1 FM. My name is Tonya Price, and this is Thursday Blend Early. It is January the 4th, bright and early. I'm really happy to be here. Jeff LaRock is away this week. I usually host a show every Tuesday at 4 p.m. called Friends with Benefits. So this is a bit of a different time zone for me, but I've got a great show lined up for you today. Michel Weatherall is here. We're going to be chatting with him. He's a local author, and Barb Avon is going to be calling in just a few minutes. We're all nominated for a Faces Award this year, and I send out much gratitude to Danielle Allard, who is a great community builder and artist in her own right. From her album Chameleon, let's start the show with Little Demons.
I smile, I laugh in the face of danger. I am fine, I am alright, my dear monsieur. I know my habits, they seem like a plea. I'm out of excuses, I keep up my sleeves. Close my eyes and improvise all these funny little lies. And I can't fight these demons anymore. No, 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 no. I won't fight these demons anymore. No, 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 no. I thought that we could sail on just a little farther, but we won't make it to the harbor. Seconds away with the wind in our sails, pulling at clothes and biting at nails. Close my eyes and improvise all these funny little lies. And I can't fight these demons anymore. No, 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 no. I won't fight these demons anymore. No, 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 no. I have to live one day at a time without a worry. I don't want to worry. I have to live one day at a time without a worry. Not just for my sanity, 'cause I close my eyes and improvise all these funny little lies. And I can't fight these demons anymore. No, 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 no. I won't fight these demons anymore. No, 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 no.
The very talented Danielle Allard right there to start off this week's edition of Thursday Blend Early. I am not Jeff LaRock. I'm Tonya Price here live in studio with Michel Weatherall, and on the phone is Barb Avon. They are two local authors, And I'm really happy to have you both on the show today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Barb.
Good morning to you. Hi.
So you missed the journey to Carleton today. I may have lost a hubcap on the way, but anyway, I'll tell my husband about all that later. So Michel, you and Barb have collaborated in the past, or you've just sort of got to know each other in the past?
No, we just got to know each other
through being local authors.
I think ultimately it was we were both at different times on Daytime Ottawa's with Dylan Black.
Okay.
And I forget how it actually came together. I think we just liked one of the posts and it went from there.
So is there...
It's the power of social media.
Yeah. So Barb, is there a pretty significant authors community here in Ottawa?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're a little bit... I didn't hear that.
I said, is there a pretty significant authors community here in Ottawa?
I believe there is, but I'm entirely independent.
Okay.
So, I'm entirely independent. I don't have any associations with committees or anything like that of that sort. It's really a personal endeavor.
And can you tell us a little bit about what kind of writing that you do, Barb?
Sure, yes, fiction, but I'd like to span different genres and challenge myself. So I went from romance, suspense, to time travel, to my latest is a thriller, actually. But I always include the love. There's always love in my books.
And how long have you been writing for?
Well, on and off in different medias for all of my life, pretty much. But I wrote my first book 13 years ago. Actually, it's now 15 years ago, and I didn't publish it until 3 years ago when my husband encouraged me to, and that started this obsession, I guess you'd call it. This. It's just my life now. So in the past 3 years, I've published 11 books.
Wow, that's amazing!
Yeah.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
And Michel, you said you clarified that obsession is a passion.
I think so.
Is that the same for you? How long have you been writing for?
You know what? Every time I get asked that question, it's a tough one to answer because the first book, The Symbiote, was actually written about 25 years ago and just, just got parked in a desk drawer and forgotten, more or less. And then it was within about the last 3 years I decided to publish it. This first half of the second book was written. It was originally designed to be a trilogy. I finished the second one and then finished the third one. Took about a year. And originally that was meant to be the entire series. And a lot of fans emailed me because the story arc is so large. There's a lot of secondary characters that we don't really find out whatever. We don't know what happens to them. Everybody had a favorite. What about? And the fourth one, The Refuse Chronicles, is a series of 19 novelettes or short stories. It's kind of an anthology, but they're all freestanding. You can read them in almost any order you want, but they do link in, they tie the entire series up and finish the whole series. But it's kind of funny how things get a life of their own. Like, it was never planned to be that fourth novel.
Yeah. And what kind of writing is this? Is this fiction as well?
They're fiction. I hesitate to say horror because too often today in literature and in movies, when we think of horror, we think of slasher, gore, shock. Mm-hmm. I think horror needs to be a bit more cerebral than that. I think Hitchcock had the right idea. It's not what you see that should scare you. It's what you don't. Your imagination can paint a picture worse than anything I could ever.
Yeah.
And they are built in a Lovecraftian world. H.P. Lovecraft. You don't need to know his material, but there's Easter eggs peppered throughout where fans of his will appreciate it.
So what does that mean? What's an Easter egg?
An Easter egg, just little references, tidbits to other pieces, tie-ins to a larger universe.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Barb, so you have 11 novels you said that you've published in the last 3 years. Are these physical books that we can go and pick up?
Actually, 3 are children's books. So technically I wrote 8 novels. And you can they're always available through me, but they are not presently in any bookstore but I'm all over the online world. Like all of your digital stores, you can purchase them everywhere. Apple, Kobo, Amazon Kindle, Amazon itself for print versions. So yeah, I'm available everywhere.
So Barb, I'm chatting with Barb Avon. She's a local writer. And Barb, I tend to interview on my show a lot of musicians, and so certainly there's been this move to digital for music. And has it been the same for authors as well?
For sure. Actually, it's funny because my husband reminded me last night that I once said that I would never publish digitally. I don't know what my qualm was with that. I think because you might see a lot of people selling their books for 99 cents, and I'm like, I could never do that. You know, digitally, of course, they are less expensive, but I didn't want to fall under the category of like bargain book, I guess you'd say, right? Because it's such a they're just worth so much more to me. Actually, they're priceless, but but yes, now I at a certain point I had to realize that no, I have to get with the times. People love their devices. So therefore, I went with it. And
so, has it been a viable option for you? Has it, have you been able to sell books digitally?
Yes, actually, I'm surprised at how well my books have been doing. The e-versions have actually sold very well. So, yeah.
Nice. And is it the same for you?
So that just proves that people just love their devices.
Yeah, true. And Michel, is that the same for you?
No, it's not. It's actually interesting to hear this because I just recently did my last 18 months of sales. And admittedly, I don't put a lot of energy or marketing into my ebooks. Ebooks constitute about 2.8% of all my sales. So it's not the monster people thought it. It's definitely here to stay, for sure. But I do most of my background's in print. I have a 30-year background in that. So the transition to self-publishing to physically printed books was a very, very simple one for me. And I always get wrapped up with I love doing the artworks for the covers, for the spines, for the recent one, The Refuge Chronicles, was the first book I have out that actually has jacket flaps in it. So it's that much more artwork you have to fill up. And it's just another creative outlet. But I mean, it's going to be different from person to person. Like I said, I don't put a lot of energy in my ebooks. Mm-hmm. They're there because some people have a preference to them. But for the most part, it's physical books.
So Barb mentioned, I'm chatting with Michel Weatherall, a local author as well. Barb mentioned social media as a great way to promote her writing. Is this a tool that you're using as well, Michel?
I am, absolutely. Yeah.
And has it been helpful? I
think so. I mean, in an email from Jeff LaRocque, he had described me as a social media monster. I don't know how accurate that is or not, but the one thing that always...
It's accurate.
The one thing that always amazes me I meet a lot of people at book signings and that, including local authors and people that want to write. I do think a lot of people don't understand the value or the necessary value of social media. You have to have a presence. You have to be out there. Myself personally, I'm not big on the whole concept of sharing personal aspects of my life. I think sometimes people don't understand that boundary, but you have to sell yourself. You have to get out there. I don't think it's an option, really.
And is there, I'll ask you both this, Barb and Michel, is there a way for people who want to start publishing, to start writing more, to kind of break into the scene? Are there like writers groups that are available to them here in Ottawa? There
are writers groups. I think I'm an exception. I'm not involved with them a lot of times. I mean, I think part of my nature is I'm a bit of a rogue in that sense. One of the benefits of being self-published or an independent author is that you're not answering to anybody. And there's downsides to that for sure, because you're doing everything, you're marketing everything. But the upside is that you are not restricted to convention. If you can think outside of the box, by all means do it and run with that. Mm-hmm. By that nature, I don't associate that way. I mean, I'm not like, I go out of my way. I have a chip on my shoulder saying I'm not going to be part of any sort of guild or anything. I just don't. I've never have. Yeah. I do have circles of friends and local authors that I know that I work with and, use as beta readers and bounce ideas off of. And that's healthy. But you need to trust them. That needs to be on an intimate level, because it's just a stranger otherwise, and I'm not comfortable with that.
And is this your experience as well, Barb, or do you have other writers that you're bouncing ideas off of and getting together with?
Never. I agree with I agree with Michelle. It's like I stated earlier. I'm fiercely independent.
I like that. Fiercely
If it's
independent.
my failure, it's my failure. If it's my success, it's my success. I just, because writing is such a personal endeavor, I don't think that I would benefit from bouncing ideas off of anybody. Well, except my husband sometimes, but that's different. I agree with Michelle, and it's
But yet, you both two local independent writers are nominated for this Faces Award. Woo-hoo. So,
Yes.
Barb, I understand that you were nominated and came in second for the female author category last year. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
That was great. Yeah, I apparently it was a very close race, and so I was very happy. It's my third year running. I mean, my third year being nominated this year, and I'm just thrilled. I mean, it's great to be. What is the word I'm looking for? Not enough coffee this morning yet. It's great to just have that recognition from your readers, So I'm looking forward to Faces again this year, and we'll see how that goes. It's of course there's a lot of other nominees that in their own right have they're going to be recognized too in their own right, but some of the other nominees don't even write fiction, so it's kind of a little bit of a strange thing that they're nominated. There should be different categories, nonfiction and fiction, in my opinion, but in the end, everybody gets recognized, and it's great exposure too. Wonderful exposure.
So the voting period just started yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and continues for another week
till
and
the
a half,
24th.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, Michelle, have you been nominated in the past?
I have not. I haven't even known about this. This came out of left field. I think it was November 24th. Somebody on Facebook said that you've been nominated, and I said, for what? Faces, what's that? And then as I looked into it, it was cool. I kind of ran with it. I didn't think a lot of it. I didn't really take it that serious until Daniela Allard posted a list of all her nominations, and I was listed in that. And that was the point where I kind of sat up and went, oh crap, maybe this is a real thing. Maybe this is serious.
Yeah.
And then I ended up making the finalists, and we're back to voting again. So.
And so for the listeners, can you tell us a little bit about Faces? Do you know much about it?
To my knowledge, it's a local magazine. It looks at the faces of Ottawa, the people that bring things to the community, the people that contribute, I suppose.
Yeah, and local businesses.
Musicians, writers. I mean, if you go to the website, the list is crazy long.
It's crazy long.
Massive.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm both humbled and honored to be mentioned in the name of some of these people, like the Ottawa's best. I look at people like Caroline Meehan, Dylan Black, Daniela Allard, Barb Avon, yourself. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is interesting, and we'll see how it all pans out. I think there's a lot of days of voting left to go, but if anyone's listening, it's facesmag.com, I think, /award.ca /awards. So just do a Google search for Faces magazine and scroll through I'd say there's 1,000 names on that website, but you don't need to vote for every category. Pick the categories you want to vote in. Your favorite massage therapist, your favorite writer, Michel Weatherall in the male category, and Barb Avon in the female category, and maybe even me.
And yourself, and you've been nominated yourself.
Yeah, exactly, for female radio personalities. So
absolutely.
Wonderful.
Pretty cool. Michelle, I think you have some events coming up that you would like to tell us about.
I do. The earliest one is on January 20th. I'm going to be at Origin Trade Coffee House on the Byward Market, 111
You were telling
York.
me it's a nice independent spot downtown.
It's a very comfy, warm coffee shop, and I've been trying to do those. I did those in the beginning of last year, the smaller, more intimate venues where you literally sit down with people and chit chat. And it's really cool because you almost, there's times where you almost feel like a bartender, some of the things people open up to you with, and I like that. I like you get to inspire people, and the better thing is you get a taste of the great people of Ottawa because they bring a lot to the table. It's a lot more interesting and diverse than people think.
So it's called Origin Trade.
Origin Trade, yeah. I'll be there on the 20th from 11 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon.
And like, what are you doing there?
I'm literally sitting there with my banner and books, and just come up, sit down, grab a coffee, and we'll talk.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. Anything else?
I am. I will be at Chapters in Canada again. My books are there right now. We'll be doing a book signing, but the date has not yet been set. It's looking like February 3rd, but that's still up in the air. On the 11th, I will be at, and this is going to be a mouthful, it's at the Bronson Center, the Goddess of Love Valentine Psychic and Craft Fair.
That is a mouthful.
That is a big one. And then on the 24th of February, I'll be at Coles in Billingsbridge doing a book signing there.
Wow, you're busy, man.
I try to be.
That's great. Good for you. And what about you, Barb? Do you have any events coming up, or are you still fiercely independent?
I resolved to do more of what Michelle is doing, but no events of that sort yet. I just finished my my latest novel, actually, so kind of taking a break in the sense of just focusing on marketing it and I guess I'm doing what Michelle's doing, but more on in the electronic sense and the internet world, and it's So I'd love to get to coffee shops and things of that nature.
We will.
I will be looking into. Yeah, we will together.
We've been chit-chatting about the idea of doing joint ventures together like that.
Yeah.
I've done them before with pairs of authors, and they works really well because what happens is, and I've had times at book signings where somebody comes up and you're giving them this spiel, and it's this, it's that, it's horror, and they look at me straight in the face and go, I don't like that genre. Well, where do you go with that? It's kind of a conversation killer, but when there's a pair of you, it's a handoff. It works so well.
The male-female balance, and Barb writing in a different genre. That's a great idea. I'll keep my eye out for that. So, Barb, you said you're really active in the digital world. Do you have a website that listeners can go to?
I do. Actually, I just tell people to Google my name, and there I am. So you'll find me on. I do have a Wix site, but it's like Michel just said about his own event. It's a kind of a mouthful, but just Google Barb Avon, and I'm right there.
Okay, sounds good. And Barb, you just mentioned that you finished a new book. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Tease us a little bit about what this new novel is.
Yeah, actually, what happened is that I wrote one in September of last year, and it never intended to have. I never intended to write a sequel, but my readers were so entranced with my male protagonist that they wanted to see him again. So I'm like, okay, you get what you. Your wish is my command, sort of thing. So I wrote the sequel. It's called Michael's Choice, and it's a thriller set in Ottawa in the 1980s.
Oh, it's so interesting to speak with you both because, like I said, I interview a lot of musicians. So it's just nice to expose myself and the CKCU FM listeners to, writers in Ottawa. And, it's easy to kind of paint a story in words, right?
For sure.
Well, thank you so much, Barb, for calling in. It's been great to chat with you, and good luck with the Faces Awards that are ongoing. And Michelle, anything else you wanted to leave us with?
No, I'm pretty good for the most part.
Okay, good. Well, thanks so much for being here. It's been a pleasure
to be here.
And do you have a website?
I do. My story's not been much different from Barb's. Basically, it's easy as to Google my name, Michel Weatherall, and the word Wix, W-I-X.
All right, sounds good. So Barb Avon, Wix, Michel Weatherall, Wix. You've got everything you're going to need.
There you go.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, enjoy your days.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let's end that little segment with a little bit of music. Here is Megan Jerome from her brand new album, Ooh Ah. Here's the title track.